Manx Radio's Update with Beth Espy.
Fastamai, good evening. It's Thursday, the 8th of August, and this is Update on Manx Radio, your rundown of what's been happening news-wise on the Isle of Man today. First of all, coming up in the next few minutes, we'll bring you the latest on the fatal road traffic collision in Peel last night. Also this evening before 5:30, a call for people with disabilities to be considered in the transport strategy, and some good news for the island's fishing industry. We'll also keep you posted on anything to watch out for on the roads as you head home tonight. That planned mountain road closure will not be going ahead. We'll hear about that in just a moment. And if you see anything we should know about, 166 177, or you can email studio@manxradio.com. Let's join Chanel first of all for the latest news headlines.
Tonight's scheduled mountain road closure will now not go ahead. The Department of Infrastructure says it's due to the current poor visibility, which is predicted to carry on into the night. Tomorrow's weather is predicted to be much better, so that closure will go ahead from 6:30 p.m. Elsewhere, a pensioner from Douglas will stand trial after being accused of committing 30 sexual offences. The 79-year-old appeared at Douglas Courthouse today. He can't be named due to new anonymity laws brought in this year by Tynwald. And visitors and locals deserve to have a bus route serving Cregneash, according to one of the MHKs for the south of the island. Michelle Hayward was among those attending a meeting this week called by campaigners for the scrapped route to be restored. In international news, organisers say they're happy with their decision to cancel 3 Taylor Swift gigs after a teenager admitted to a terror plot involving the killing of as many people as possible. Fans in Austria say they're disappointed, though London's Eras show next week will go ahead. The mother of 2 brothers jailed for the looting of a library in Liverpool this week says she's not a scumbag and is urging would-be rioters to stay at home. Others have been sentenced over violent scenes across the country last week. And Ellie Aldridge has won Team GB's 13th gold medal for the 2024 Olympics. She's claimed victory in the women's kitesurfing final. Those are your headlines. News at 6.
Thanks very much, Chanel. Now the weather brought to you by Manx Glass and Glazing. It's not brilliant tonight, remaining dull and damp for the rest of today. Extensive hill fog and further outbreaks of rain. That will clear later this evening or early tonight. It'll then be largely dry overnight, clearer skies, and only the small risk of an isolated shower. If you want to sit outside tonight, then that'd be okay. Moderate to fresh southwest winds becoming fresh to strong westerly overnight with a minimum temperature of around 12. Tomorrow, though, some good news. Generally dry, sunny spells. Fresh to strong west or southwest winds, but they will ease during the afternoon, and top temperatures tomorrow of around 19 Celsius.
Manx Glass and Glazing don't just do the big jobs. It's easy to repair broken greenhouse glass at Manx Glass and Glazing. For greenhouse glass cut to size, call 674 573.
If you run a small business or just need more room in the back, Philshaw Vehicles has the perfect van or light commercial for all your needs and can sort out any finance. Based in the Tremode estate, view philshawvehicles.im or call 49 51 49.
A great night's sleep got even better with Zed's Bedding Store. From quality Beldorm bed linen and mattress protectors, fleece and woven throws to luxury duvets from the fine bedding company. Zed's Bedding Ramsey, next to Isle of Man Bank.
SMS Trading, new and second-hand furniture, from flat pack to fully built. See our range at Unit 24, Gladstone Park, Ramsey. All island delivery and man in a van service available. Call SMS Trading on 315 151 or find SMS Trading on Facebook.
Visit Ramsey Craft Centre at Church Walk St Paul Square for beautiful yarns, fabrics, buttons, craft kits, patterns. In fact, all you need for your craft works. Open Monday to Saturday. Visit Ramsey Craft Centre St Paul Square or find us on Facebook for opening times, news and offers.
You're listening to the Isle of Man's quintessential daily news and current affairs roundup. Update on Manx Radio.
It's coming up to 5:05. Police are appealing for witnesses following a fatal road traffic collision. It happened yesterday, Wednesday the 7th of August, in Peel. And news editor Tessa Hawley joins me in the studio now. So, Tessa, have we had any more information yet about exactly what happened?
So, at around 4:18 yesterday afternoon, police were called to a crash on Douglas Road in Peel, which had taken place near to QE2 High School. The A1 was closed whilst the emergency services dealt with the incident, and we know that the response included the air ambulance. Sadly, last night, the Isle of Man Constabulary confirmed that a 21-year-old man had died after sustaining serious injuries.
And has he been identified yet?
He hasn't. Apart from his age and the fact that he was local to the Isle of Man, no other details about him have been released. But police say his family have been informed and are being supported by officers at this time.
So 2 people were arrested following the incident. Do we know any more about those people?
Again, the answer is no. Officers did confirm that those 2 arrests had been made in relation to their investigation. Nobody connected to the case, though, appeared at Douglas Courthouse today, so we understand that those investigations are still continuing at this stage.
And what are the public being asked to do?
Well, firstly, not speculate. As the matter is ongoing, police have asked people to refrain from speculating about who was involved and what might have happened. Officers are, however, asking people who witnessed the incident or who may have been in the area at the time to contact them. They particularly want to see dashcam footage, and anyone who can help is being asked to contact police headquarters, and the telephone number is 631 212.
Tessa, thank you very much. You can find those contact details on the story at manxradio.com. 6.5 minutes past 5, a public meeting is being held next week to discuss plans for the future of Jurby Airfield. Now, proposals were unveiled in a set of maps inside the draft North and West Area Plan during the inquiry that was held a couple of weeks ago. There's been a lot of discussion about this on social media recently, and residents not only in Jurby but also nearby villages of Andreas and Bride could potentially be affected. Well, our local democracy reporter Emma Draper has been following this story. She joins us in the studio now. Emma, what have Jurby commissioners been saying about all of this?
Well, the local authority released a statement on Facebook which said it's been working with the Department of Infrastructure for 4 years, and at no point has plans for the development of the airfield come up. It adds that the board wasn't made aware of any changes until it came to light on social media. And at its board meeting in May, the draft North and West Area Plan was discussed before they submitted comments. But again, it was not aware of any changes.
So what information, Emma, do we have about these airfield proposals?
Not a lot. So the inquiry documents are contained to one map, and there is no explanatory document to go alongside it. What we do know is that it would add nearly 2.5 kilometres to what is currently there, and this would make the runway roughly the same size as Liverpool John Lennon Airport. It's also been marked down as an ASSI, which is an Area of Special Scientific Interest. This is what was brought up by Manx Wildlife Trust at the inquiry, that it cannot be both an airport and a wildlife habitat.
So we know that this public meeting is going to be held on Monday, that's the 12th of August. Do we know who will be there?
So the local authority has confirmed that the airport director Gary Cobb and the Aaron Michael MHK's Alfred Cannon and Tim Johnston will be in attendance. Mr Cobb will make a presentation and a Q&A session will follow that. The commissioners are encouraging residents to only speak when invited to by the chair of the board and to keep an orderly manner. Representatives from Planning and the Cabinet Office have also been invited, but have not confirmed their attendance. The local authority said there is a limit of 100 people in the parish hall due to fire regulations, and is asking people if they are driving to park at the parade ground next to the health centre.
Local democracy reporter Emma Draper, thank you. Again, you can find much more in this story at manxradio.com. And just a reminder, the meeting about the airfield is this coming Monday, that's the 12th of August at the Jurby Parish Hall, and it'll start at 7 p.m. 9 minutes exactly past 5. Campaigners are hoping the Department of Infrastructure listens to their concerns and finds a way to restore the Cregneash bus service. Now, it was recently confirmed that the number 28 had been scrapped as it was not considered to be financially viable. Russian MHK Michelle Haywood was among those attending a public meeting on this issue this week, and afterwards she spoke to Manx Radio's political correspondent Phil Gaughan.
It was well attended. It was lovely to see some people here from Cregneash as well, because we're down in Portsmouth having a meeting, so it's good to get that opinion, because I think there's a dual purpose for this service, isn't there? There's the visitors, and we advertise the sound and the views across there widely throughout our promotion of the island, and so our visitors want to get down there. But there's also locals that want a service and that deserve some service going out there. And so I think it was really interesting to hear that there were representatives of those agencies that support tourism, and so Russian Heritage Trust and the people who meet and greet off the trains here, as well as residents saying, well, actually we need it too.
What was the reason given by the Minister for the service being cut? Because it does seem quite strange that two of the one beauty spot and one of I would go as far as to say world famous heritage sites on the Isle of Man, Cregneash, were served by this service. Does DOI purely look at this based on its own budget? Does it not think about the greater good across the rest of government?
No, there's the silo mentality for you kicking in, isn't it? So the cuts started, with COVID, and it never resumed properly after that. And then we hear there's not enough drivers, there's not enough buses, it loses money. Pretty much all bus services lose money, but they're run as a service, and that's the whole point, isn't it? It's about providing a service. So I think there have been multiple factors that have come into this, and they've never really wanted to get it going again. And if you start up a part-time service that only runs for a few hours on weekends and you don't particularly advertise it, of course nobody's going to use it. And then, of course, the numbers look low, and then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy to say, well, it wasn't worth running it. Actually, on the back of the bus, quite ironically at the moment, is the view of the sound promoting that you can use your travel card to get around the island, and it's the one place on the island you can't actually get to on a bus. It's just ridiculous.
That is Russian MHK Michelle Haywood, who's talking to Phil Gaughan there. We have contacted the DOI for response to that. 11.5 minutes past 5. Let's turn our attention to business news now, brought to us by Ramsey Crookall. And Manx Radio understands a significant number of jobs at an island-based e-gaming company are at risk. Jurby says it's reassessing its workforce across its global network, including at the Isle of Man office. Amy Griffiths has more on this.
The company is part of the micro gaming family and develops software for online gaming suppliers. In a statement sent to Manx Radio, a spokesperson for Jurby says it's considering a new operating model to modernise the business. As part of that, it's contemplating a redundancy process that may result in job terminations. However, it insists no final decisions have been made, and it's currently consulting its employees. Jurby says its current model doesn't fully support its objectives despite numerous efforts to address inefficiencies, and it's hoping a new operating model will accelerate its growth and innovation. Jurby wouldn't confirm how many jobs are at risk, but Manx Radio understands it's a significant number across its global network. The Department for Enterprise says the news is unwelcome, but acknowledges the business must make strategic commercial decisions. It says it's going to continue to support Jurby and any staff members who may be affected. Despite this announcement, DFE insists the island's digital sector is continuing to show signs of strength, with skills remaining in high demand and a number of businesses showing promising signs of growth.
Amy Griffiths reporting there. 13 minutes past 5, Ramsey Crookall provide us with the stock market report, and today we're told that US stocks rallied on upbeat weekly jobless claims data. After coming under pressure over the course of the previous session, stocks have moved sharply higher during trading today. The major averages have all shown strong moves to the upside, more than offsetting yesterday's losses. Gold prices inched higher while the dollar slipped amid bets the Federal Reserve will cut interest rates aggressively to combat a slowing economy. Heightened geopolitical tensions and concerns about an economic slowdown in China and the US also helped bullion gain some traction today. Oil prices traded lower, though, after having risen nearly 3% in the previous two sessions. That's on concerns over the possibility of a retaliatory strike from Iran on Israel. The downside, however, remained capped after government data showed a steep draw in US crude stockpiles. Also, Libya's National Oil Corporation has declared a force on all crude loadings from the Shahara oil field with immediate effect. Looking at the commodities first of all then, currently gold standing at 1.47% at $2,000,417. Oil up 0.39% at $78.86. And the markets a short time ago at the close, FTSE 100 was off 0.32% at 8,141. The Dow Jones up 1.3% at 39,268. And the Nasdaq a short time ago was up 1.83 at 16,494.
I'm running late again. Do you know where I put my car keys?
In the fridge.
Where's my phone?
Under the dog basket.
Bye.
You haven't forgotten that we're seeing Ramsey Crook all later?
Oh, no, of course not. 5 p.m, is it?
2:45.
I'll be there.
Life is busy. That's why Ramsey Crookall's team takes time to help you make a mindful investment decision, considering all the options, giving you full control of your financial future. Less stress, more assurance.
Forgot to put my shoes on.
Oh.
See how we can make your money work for you. Call 717171 or visit ramseycrookall.com. Licensed and regulated by the Isle of Man Financial Services Authority.
Manx Radio Travel, driven by Quayside Tyres and Service Centre.
So the main thing is visibility out there isn't brilliant at the moment, and because of that, this evening's closure of the Mountain Road is now not going ahead. It's not forecast to get much better this evening, so understandably it's considered unsafe to work in those conditions. Tomorrow's weather, as we've already heard, though, looking much better, so that closure will hopefully go ahead from 6:30 as previously advertised. So it does mean that 2 of the 5 evening closures planned for this week have had to be postponed. There are provisional closure dates available during next week, and a decision will be made at the end of tomorrow's session about which and how many of those provisional closures will be needed to complete the planned work. So we'll keep you up to date on that. As I say, the visibility pretty poor, so if you are up on the mountain, it might be well advised to pop your lights on. All looking okay down at the airport, just a couple of little delays. A Dublin flight's a little bit late, for example, and at the steam packet, all looking on schedule.
Ask how you can spread the cost interest-free at
Quayside.
It is 16 and a half minutes past 5. An Augu resident and commissioner for the area says he believes accessibility and maintenance are priorities which need to be addressed as part of the future transport strategy. David Quirk contacted Manx Radio's Man in Line today, highlighting issues that he believes that are in his area.
The other day I was observing a person in a motorised wheelchair who struggled to get over an inch lip to get to the shops in Augu and had to go down the road, in the middle of the road, and cross at one of the crossings to get into the shopping in Augu.
In the middle of the road?
In the middle of the road. What sort of service are we getting from the DOI? And it goes straight to the Minister and the Chief Executive. And the other issues regarding buses as well, because it interconnects with it as well. I've sent you pictures of the bus shelters, 2 massive ones in Augu. I'd like people to go and look at them. One's a Port Jack near the Port Jack chippy. When they're getting their chips, they can go across the road and look at that shelter there. Full of rust. The seats are full of rust and got spiky bits on where the laminates come up on it. There's a big office development at the back there where people get the bus. And I just wonder what sort of picture they put to people who are a big international company there to say where they pick up the bus. It's a disgrace. Absolutely a disgrace. They can't even clean it. And the other one is in Governor's Road. It's an old concrete shelter where it's flooded with water and we've had rain. It's still got the graffiti on the inside in it. And I emailed Emily Curfey, and I don't mind saying her name, from the DOI Chief Executive, about 6-7 weeks ago. I got a call from one of the people from the bus saying, we haven't got any shelters, we haven't got any money.
That is David Quirk, an Augu resident and commissioner for the area, who called into the Man in Line today. We have again asked the DOI to comment on this story. 18 and a half minutes past 5. Now, we were hearing about the fatal RTC in Peel yesterday, a little bit earlier with Tessa. We have now had a further update from police, and Chanel joins me in the studio. Chanel, what have we been told?
Well, police has confirmed that as a result of sustaining fatal injuries, Nesta Hasselden has passed away. He was aged 21. His family are currently being supported by specialist trained officers, and the constabulary is requesting that the public refrain from speculating as to the causation of the collision at this time. They're also asking for privacy for all that's respected at this time. We can confirm that one motorcycle and 2 vehicles were involved in this collision. The 2 male drivers of both cars, who were subsequently arrested, have now been released on bail, whilst investigations continue to determine the circumstances of the collision. Officers say as the investigation continues, any witnesses who were in the area of Douglas Road between 4 o'clock and 4:30 p.m. on Wednesday the 7th of August are urged to please contact them on 631-212, or alternatively contact Crime Stoppers on 0800 555 111.
Thank you very much indeed, Chanel. And once again, those details will be available at manxradio.com. It is 5:20. After a positive season last time out, Vagabond's men's squad are looking to compete with the best in 2024-25. Now that's according to squad member Daniel Bonwick, who also says they've been encouraged by the amount of new faces joining the club and taking up the sport.
I think it went really well. All considering, we had a lot of new faces come into the club. Obviously, that was my first full season as well with the club. So I think from where we started this, we set out our goals pretty early on, knew where we wanted to be. And I think fair play to all the lads, we stuck at it and got where we wanted. Probably would have liked to have been one position higher, but that's how it goes. Swings and roundabouts with having to travel away every week, and results don't go your way sometimes. But at the end of it, I think we all did really well and we were proud of where we finished.
Given some of the results you had last season, I mean, including you did the double over Ashton under line last season, were you happy with some of the results you were picking up, particularly against the teams around you towards the top?
Oh, 100%. The boys did amazing with all the teams that we played. Obviously, a couple slipped away from us, probably could have won, but that's swings and roundabouts of rugby. But yeah, really happy all round last season. So we're looking to take that forward into this year and keep building.
In terms of the pre-season preparation, so quite generally, what's the team been up to get ready for the next campaign?
Fitness and more fitness at the minute. It's pretty horrendous, to be honest, I'm not going to lie. But it's all beneficial. It's really good. Coaches, Franzi, Darren and Mike are really pushing us hard and then starting to link our gameplay together now. So it's really starting to come on. The boys are really pushing us and they know where they want us to be. We've set our goals out. We know this is what we want to do. This is how we're going to do it. So we're in a really good position as we are. Lots of new faces. Obviously, we'd love a few more new faces to come down and get joined in and have the laugh and the fun. But where we are, we're pushing really hard. So really happy at the minute.
Where would you like to be in and around in terms of Counties 4 ADM next season?
We're 100% pushing to be where we were last year, Rob. We want to be up there and thereabouts competing with the best of them. So that's where we've got to look at. Our fitness is going to kick in, take other teams out of it completely, we hope. So that's where we're aiming for. Definitely up at the top again.
That is Daniel Bonwick, who is from Vagabond's men's squad. 5:21. Now, some good news. Landings of Queen Scallops for week 5 of the 2024 season are well up on last year. The figures have been produced by the Scallop Management Board and they show that 463.1 tonnes have been landed, representing 64% of the total allowable catch. Dr. David Beard is from the Manx Fish Producers Association and he's been talking to Simon Richardson.
What we look at each week from each fishing ground is a catch rate, what's called landing per unit effort. It's well above what the historical sort of level is. And if you compare it to the last 5-year period, which is what we generally do, the catch rates are well above those. So especially off Peel, an area called targets, they're at least double what they have been on average for the last 5 years.
And are there more boats fishing, or is this just because there's more scallops around?
No, there's not more boats fishing. There's only sort of 15 have targeted the fisheries so far this year, and I wouldn't expect that to increase above that. Just on that ground, there's more stock around, and I think that's partly due to the management. Last year, the area near where they're fishing now was protected because there was a lot of juveniles there, and that was closed for the season last year, and obviously those have grown through into sizable the size that are available to catch. So I think it's partly that. I think it's been good management, really.
Of course, it's not just about quantity, is it? The quality, I understand, has been good this year.
Yeah, the yield and the roe content, which is the percentage that have the roe attached to them, it's been really high. It's the quality is pretty exceptional, actually, at the moment. And again, far better than it has been over the last 5 years. It wasn't bad in the last 5 years, it was good, but this is exceptional. So yeah, it's going very well at the moment, the fishery. Hopefully it'll continue. We did expect that the roe content would drop off as they spawn, but that hasn't happened yet. So while the yield and roe content are high, we'll carry on fishing and say the catch rates are excellent.
That is Dr. David Beard. Now, the Isle of Man women's national football side will take on fellow island nations in a brand new tournament on the 23rd and 24th of August. The inaugural Cherry Godfrey Cup will see the Manx side involved in a 4-team event along with host Jersey as well as the Isle of Wight and Guernsey. Isle of Man team captain Becky Cregneash and head coach Wayne Lacey think it's a fantastic opportunity for the women's game.
We normally only get the opportunity to play at the Island Games, which is every other year, so to be able to break up that year where we have nothing, it's an amazing opportunity that we're able to go away and play again as a team.
Where do you think this would rank alongside something like an Island Games?
Well, the standard is going to be the same. It's going to be the same kind of standard of teams we play against in the Island Games. So it's been, since the Island Games last year, it's been a reset for the squad. We've got new players in the squad and a few younger players, and that'll give them the opportunity to see what kind of standard they'll be up against when it comes to the Island Games next year.
We had quite a heavy weekend a couple of weeks ago where we had 3 friendlies in the 3 days. We had a couple of teams come over and play us on the Friday and the Saturday, and then we shot off then to Burscough to play the Lionesses support team. So it was good opportunity for us to start playing 11-a-side again with the team and just put it into a bit more perspective really of where we're at the minute.
The squad's a lot bigger now, and all I can say is it will push, shall we say, the experienced members of the squad, and hopefully when you've got competition for places, then that pushes everyone.
Looking forward to this tournament. So from the team side of things, what's the ambition from this particular tournament? What do you think you can achieve?
Well, we're not going in it if we're not going to plan on winning it, for sure. I mean, the girls are so ambitious and they're so determined, and taking it from the Island Games last year, we were so gutted to have not walked away with the gold. Obviously, we were made up with the bronze and we got a medal, but it's just made the girls hungrier to make sure that we prove that we are the best team from the islands that they can be.
If this is a tournament that's going to be something that develops for the long term, how beneficial do you think it could be for the women's national team set up for the Isle of Man in the years to come?
Oh, it's massive because it gives us something to work towards every single year. So there's no break and you don't lose the focus, because as soon as the Island Games is over, we've got another tournament the following year. So it's fantastic.
Really is. Wayne Lacey and Becky Cregneash there. And speaking of sport, here's Rob Pritchard.
Fast am I. We'll start with cycling this evening, and Isle of Man pro cyclist Lizzie Holden looks set to compete at this year's Tour de France Femme. The 26-year-old is listed in the UAE Team ADQ lineup on the Tour's official website, with the prestigious Women's World Tour event due to start next Monday and run until next Sunday. She'll be one of 2 Isle of Man riders taking part in the race, along with Becky Storey, who was confirmed in the Team DSM Firmenich Post NL squad in the last week. Well, as of this month, Holden will have taken part in every Tour de France Femme since its inception in 2022. Well, elsewhere in cycling, Max Walker has broken the Isle of Man record for the 10-mile time trial. The Manxman, who now races with the Astana Kazakhstan development team, clocked a winning time of 18 minutes and 45 seconds during last night's 7th round of the Super Manx Summer Series. It eclipses the previous outright best of 18 minutes and 59 seconds set by Ireland resident and former world scratch race champion Ben Swift back last year. Well, elsewhere, young Isle of Man shooting competitor Catherine Holden has set a new Manx record. The Ireland athlete set a new benchmark in the women's air pistol of 551 whilst taking part in the British Pistol Club meeting in Woking last Sunday. Well, furthermore, Holden has also claimed a gold medal this week at the National Small Bore Rifle Association GB Junior International, also in the same town of Beasley. She took top spot in the target sprint event of 4 minutes and 51 seconds. Her nearest competitors in joint second from Scotland and South Africa completed the event in 5 minutes and 11 seconds. Well, last year, for a bit of context, Holden also represented the Isle of Man in the women's 10-metre air pistol events at the 2023 Island Games in Guernsey. She claimed bronze in the individual competition and claimed team bronze alongside Blee Richardson. And finally tonight in football, one of FC Isle of Man's August fixtures has now been pushed back to next month. The Island Club has announced its away tie in the NWCFL Premier Division at West Didsbury and Chorlton has been moved to Saturday the 21st of September, kicking off at the Step Places Stadium at 3 p.m. It had previously been scheduled to take place on the evening of Tuesday the 20th of August.
Thank you very much indeed, Rob. That is all from Update this evening. Thank you so much for your company. Thank you also to the Manx Radio News team for the very latest updates. Coming up next, it's Shackley with Fiona McArdle. Greatest hits then with Chris Kinley. A little light music with Morris Powell before Rianne rounds off your Thursday with After Hours. Whatever you're doing tonight, I hope you have a good one. I'll see you back here at 5 p.m. tomorrow.